Right here, don't it feel like we just had the conversation? This is beautiful, man. It don't feel, and there's all that connection uh, to the Discord, right? Like,
This is right now like a work in progress to just like have like I can show you a demo of what I'm working on right now. Is this working? No, it isn't. Um, let me see. Okay, let me see if I can show you. All right. Yeah, it's working. Okay, so right now the uh, the thing I'm trying to do is zoom in as well. So what I'm trying to do is have something like Distacular. This is the new bot that I'm building this Discord stacks healer. I don't know the name that came to me. You right now it's just like send STX. This is not going to be in production. I'm just like trying to do a POC. This is supposed to create a contract, an unsigned contract call that would be signed when you go to the link. Um, and like the recipient is going to be, for example, me. Um, so this bot would take this amount and store it in, let's see now, in here, MongoDB, where we should have the amount, the recipient, or like just basically the details of the transaction. And then that transaction would be in the database for people to just like have something like this stackhealer.com slash confirm transaction slash whatever ID I have in the database. Like for example, this ID. That's it. Once you go there, you should have like one button to confirm the transaction, or like a two-step to log in using your Hero wallet and then to confirm the transaction. That's basically it.
that's beautiful, man. I know it's still POC, but even just those connections to Discord are crazy. And yeah, it makes sense the name Distacular. Because I was gonna say, like, all of this inside of Discord is starting to get pretty ridiculous, man. And just to have the link, I know you said you're working on that. Yeah, to sign. This is beautiful, man. This is beautiful. And you guys saw it before me. This is beautiful.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
So, is it possible to say, send this amount of stacks to this person for select a type of category for the reasoning? Say, for example, this is for content work, or this is for bridging work, or this is for bear, or wolf or
Memo,
turtle work.
like a memo.
Well, less sort of manual in less. Well, you have like preset of, I think, categories to
Oh,
select from,
oh.
rather than just a freestyle memo.
I think you can have like you can have it as a memo in the implementation, but like
Hmm.
in the front end, what you see is like a code that gets translated to some sort of category, and then that
Yeah,
category might be translated into like maybe something that gets inputted into the source code
yeah.
algorithm.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
from a stacks advocate
technically,
perspective, it could be categorized as purely as simple as the three clans, right? The turtle, wolf, and bear type of work.
uh,
Or is it different?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I don't think I don't think I don't think it works that way.
okay.
Uh,
But maybe I can say this is for somebody created a content, so it's content work. Maybe somebody else did some other type of work, maybe it's Twitter related or some code related stuff. So I can just categorize people's contribution into
That
categories.
that I think might be in the category of, and I'm grateful this is in this category. It's in the category of the invisible economy, or the invisible exchanges
Yeah,
of value.
yeah.
I'm not saying
Oh, okay,
so. I'm
okay,
not shutting you down.
okay. I get you.
Yeah. And also, Harold, I've been excited to show you this because, like, remember when I said that I would just like keep my my status as like make explicit the path to compensating GovLab outside labor?
Yeah.
This is it. Like, if we like, I have like a, I'm not gonna go all parts of our salary, not all of our salary, hopefully all of our salaries into the contract, and just like create funding proposals, and work through that instead of just like having like this in obscene amounts of money, or not obscene. I think it's obscene. I don't know, but I think like we can spare some of it. I don't know if it's. I'm not gonna judge. I'm not judging. I fucking hate talking about money, but you get them. You get the idea. We can just like put like 500 STX each or something in that thing, and it could just like have take care of like Zoom subscription, Loom, that kind of shit, and also like outside labor, people who deserve to be compensated for their work, fairly compensated for their work. Um, that's what I've been thinking, especially like this is something I think as this like something that we created. I think we're the ones that should be using it. I think that's like only fair. But yeah, I'm trying to force you guys into a corner to use this.
No,
and
I'm up
to-
for it. I will give
Yes.
you the 500. And I think we talked about this before in the beginning. And we said that we were going to do this kind of thing and we need to eat our own dog food, right?
What?
Right? Eat our own
What's
dog
what?
food. Eat our own
Yeah,
dog food.
yeah. Don't
That's what
have
it's about.
dogs.
God, okay. It's a joke. Wasn't a joke. It was real, but now it's a joke. Never mind. I'm going away.
No,
Oh my
I get
god.
it. But no, yes, this is exciting, man. And yeah, like Julian says, I remember we talked about it at the beginning of GovLab, and yeah, of course it makes sense for us to use it and to show, a certain precedent too, but also just get to use this tooling, man. This is ridiculous. This is amazing. It would be dope to be able to use it, get our hands on it and use it like this, and to show what can be done. But yeah, this is also very much officially the beginning of task creation stuff with systems design spin on it. So this is beautiful. And I know you mentioned it can get choppy in terms of adding folks and the immutability of the contract, so as it is, and how that was a big part of the conversation that we had. It seems like yesterday, but no, just to have something out possible now, after talking about journeys for so long, and to be able to use it ourselves would be beautiful. Even if it's for like you're saying, just accounts and things like this, or we need help for, I think, some graphic design or visibility. Even GovLab grants. For getting help with any Twitter stuff or other visibility stuff. It makes sense to have it all have it all there as well, right? As opposed to whatever the alternative we were going to engage in. We haven't really engaged in budget for the GovLab like other residents have yet, but this could be another way of doing this, right? And you know, dog fooding. Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm still pushing for us to put all of our salaries into the contract. But I'll respect people's consent when it comes to that. The I think together we can just like make like a huge impact when it comes to like funding, and also like when we have actual proposals for funding other people, I think this might present an actual call for just having for using the budget for grants. And we have, and since we have a system, I don't think there should be any problem with it. I'll try to, I think the only missing part, and thank you, Hero, for pointing that out, is like having a description for, or at least like a small title for the funding proposal. I think this just like small text that describes what this is going to pay out. Even it could be like a link even for like a GitHub issue or something that explains in detail the kind of expenses or where that where these expenses are going for. So I'll just put that here right now. Let me see. Yeah, you guys talk. I'll do this, and I'll be back.
I think it's really rad. I don't have any pom-poms.
Thank you, Aloysius. Yeah. I've also I didn't catch you up, you guys, to one part of the conversation that I had with Hero, which is like we have like a lot of DAO products on Stacks, and why not use these? I might have said that before, but I'll say it again. It's because these products are not well tested and they're too complicated. And I think we're not reinventing the wheel. I think we are inventing the wheel. The wheels that we have right now are factory grade, military grade wheels, just airdropped from space. I don't think it's fair to use like older implementations or. Sorry, the dog's happy that he's just fucking go. I think we should invent the wheel, at least as simple as possible. And that's like the reasoning. If I could show you like the contract itself, this is just like one contract. It's like 200 lines. All the other DAO contracts are either like too long or they're separated into like a lot of contracts. For governance, just start simple, please.
I see you trying to make it like accessible and readable. That's the other thing that I know about these contracts. I haven't dug into them too much. I have a little bit. especially after certain DAOs would do like critiques and write-ups about their experience. It informed me more is that there's a lot of people just like forking what works and rolling with it, and it's you bring so much excess. Yeah, to be able to have it bare bones, either you're writing the contract from scratch yourself or whatever. Honestly, I think that is by far the smartest fucking way to go about it. Excuse my French. You understand what's in there, as opposed to just like accepting what is and because it works. Like that's vulnerability, honestly. To be operating a contract that you just fork and you like don't really know everything, but it works. Like I see that as like vulnerability in a lot of places. So yeah, short and knowing what's in it is like gold.
Thank you, Aloysius. I actually 100%. I'm actually 100% with you there. Like, I could just like give you guys a walkthrough of the contract, and it's just like, so deposit. What does deposit do? It asserts that the person who is sending the money is the same person who called the contract, not calling it from a different contract. And then it's transferring that of the X amount to the contract. That's like the deposit function. Create proposal. What it does is check that the contract caller called the contract directly again, not through another contract, and that they're a member of the DAO, and that the total amount of the funding proposal does not exceed the balance. I should probably remove this because I think it should be checked at the execution part, not at the creation, because we might have the money when we execute the proposal, but I'm not sure. I'll try to remove it. I think we can do without it. And then we put the data of the contract, which is like the list of people who are going to get the money and who proposed that, that proposal, and when was it created, and the status at the initial status, which is proposed. And then we put that in this map, and we increase the count of the funding proposals so that we can, this is like a list. The next function is descent. It checks again that the person who called the contract called it directly, not from another contract, that they're a member, that the descent period, the 5 days period, has not passed yet, and that the proposal is sorry. Let me zoom in. The proposal is still proposed, not failed and not passed, and then it just sets the status to failed. That's it. And now the execute function almost does the same. Again, checks is this a direct caller, and is this a member, and do we have enough money to send out, and is this proposal still pristine, and has the descent, if the descent has not passed yet. Descent has not passed yet.
If I could actually get myself to Costco, I'd be getting another pair of glasses and I'd be pushing them up right now and telling you that I like your error handling.
Thank you. And if the descent has not, if descent has passed successfully, thankfully, I just set the proposal to pass and I send the STX to everybody else, and that's it. This is the whole code. The rest of the code is just like some helpful function to get the proposal data, another to get the proposal status, another to check if the proposal has descent has passed yet or not, to get the balance of the contract or the DAO. These are vestiges of old ideas, so that like members have equal shares of the DAO funds. This is like something that I decided to not go with, but I haven't gotten around to remove these things yet, and just send the STX loop. If is this a member? I can go on and on, but get amount of the target, add the member. This is like the initial when we start with the initial list, which is hard coded. Funny, right here. These are the members and their addresses. This is the map for the funding proposals. It contains the targets, who proposed, when was it created, the status, and how much total amount is it, and the description. And the members only have like address right now. And this is just like to get the idea of the members. It's some bullshit reverse thing. These are the error codes. Proposed 0, passed 1, failed 2. Member exists, error is 1001. Not found 2. As not enough funds. Not direct caller, not member. Proposal not found. Proposal sent expired. Proposal frozen because it was either passed or failed. Proposal sent active. The sent period has not passed yet. This is the whole contract. And you know what? I don't want to miss this part. So
Execution
the members.
and helper functions, yeah.
What?
So it's just execution and helper functions.
Yes, helper functions, data declaration. So the members are indexed just like the funding proposals 0, 1, 2, 3. So I also want to store like which address has which index so that I get the member data. So it's just like a two-way thing. I store the address by an ID, and I store an ID by an address. Some bullshit. And that's the whole contract. This is everything. And I just like finished it in I don't know how many minutes. And I think all contracts should be that way. At least like for like small teams or some shit. This is why I did this. This code is also open source, by the way. Needless to say, I guess.
That mic drop. And it's open source. Jeez Louise. I love that. That's incredible, dude.
Yeah, thank you for the walkthrough, man. I know I appreciate it. I know others did add to it as well. But yeah, this is beautiful, man. What was that part that you said you hadn't taken out yet, but you were thinking about it? You had my mind going in all different directions there, but I know,
Yeah,
it went over my head a little bit.
there's this part the I thought about. I don't know why I thought about this, but this the exit thing, the exit design, I changed. I don't think it's a good plan to just like have people just exit at any point of time. I think it should be just like a consensus based decision, just like any decision. If people want to exit the DAO, they could create a funding proposal that sends an amount to the person who's exiting the DAO, and the rest to the new contract with the new members. I think this is a better flow than just like having, and I think this has been used by people in Moloch who do like rage quit, and they just created a new contract anyway. So we're not better than Moloch. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah.
Okay. No, yeah, I remember talking about that in the conversation too. So that explains why you were still thinking along those lines. But yeah, no, this is This is amazing, y'all. Did I miss anything when you first showed it to Hero, Juliet? What were y'all first reactions to all of this?
I'm not sure.
It was Hero and
Uh,
Juliet that saw this demo already. The contract work and all.
Yeah, I've seen them.
uh,
Yeah, they look great. I'm not like a coder, so I don't know what I'm seeing like from a like working level. But yeah, definitely. I think if I think Harold, I don't know if you showed Harold the user interface part. As a user, you can just show Harold maybe in the Discord how it basically works on the contract.
Was it that little
Yeah, it's
small
just like a
proof of
little
concept
part.
that?
yeah. So the bot should just like have like a command create DAO, right? And that command would just like I'm trying to have like a few assumptions to have like everybody have their nicknames in the server be like BNS names dot BTC or something, because um, this would be the name of the person who created the address of the person who's going to create the DAO, right? This is like the person who creates DAO, and it's easier for me to just like to if I have that assumption, to like include some nice Discord visuals by just creating selecting Discord users like mentions, and I used these mentions and parse them out to be like initial members in a DAO using the addresses that are related to their BNS names. And then I create the contract in the database, and then just like show this in this page, and just like it would be one click to have that contract deployed. Or
So
3 clicks at
my
at most.
understanding on that is it's as easy to use as say the current slash meeting command thing, right?
What?
It's as
I'm
easy
sorry,
to
your voice isn't clear, Hero, for some
oh,
reason.
I think maybe my computer is overheating.
It's in and out for some reason.
Hello, hi.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
better.
okay. So the way I imagine is it's as easy to use as the current meeting bot.
Hopefully, like what I like, the only thing that I want the user to know is Discord and the Hero wallet, or like buying NFTs. This I think is like the only thing that I'm thinking about, or that's on my mind, so that they don't like um uh need so need or have a lot of overhead that they need to just like know things and in order to use this thing.
Yeah. So if you want to get the money, make sure you link it to your Discord name, have a wallet, link it to your Discord name, and on the other side of the other end of the on the other end, the other person basically just uses slash command to give that person the money. That's it, isn't it?
So this is like for the Send STX thing
Oh,
that I'm
okay.
working on right now, which will not be released. I'm not gonna use this. the what I'm trying to do is having like deploy the contract of the DAO from Discord, or at least like the start of the flow from Discord,
Yeah.
and then like create funding proposal from Discord. I don't know if Discord can do this, but I think it can just like start off by just like giving you a link or something where you can just like at worst case scenario, you would just like select or like type in inputs or form for like the list of targets, so that you could create a funding proposals, and also like maybe notifications that keep you up to date about like, hey, this proposal has a new funding proposal has been created. It's gonna be eligible to execute in say 5 days, and just like the active issues thing, discussion expires and blah blah blah, and there should be like, I hopefully buttons, dissent, and just like nothing else, I guess. Maybe signal approval. And signal approval is just like, there's not gonna send anything to the contract, but just clicking on that button might just like put a message in the thread that says X has signaled their approval for this proposal, right? So that it's still public, that you signal your approval. At the same time, you have like an actual ability to dissent on that proposal right from Discord.
This is possible, like you said before, because of the full node thing. Like, how are you even doing that part? The whole Discord to contract part. I know you touched on it before, but
I'll touch on it again. So the thing is, Harold,
Can I
there's a
guess?
server.
Can I guess?
Guess.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. I want to try to guess. I want to say that there is a server that holds. There's like I want to say there's a server that calls to the contract or something, and it holds like the state for memory. Like my brain thinks that there's something where storage is happening to interact between Discord API calls and the contract, and then like something with the data. So like my brain thinks that that's what the server is the short-term memory for the like questions you're asking it, and it kind of like does some stuff. And I think it's API calls that are allowing Haas to make the command from the Discord to the server. That's about all I got from what I can like think of.
Yes. So it's roughly what Al just mentioned. It's the command in Discord goes to a server. The server listens to that command and then puts a record in the database with like all the details, and then that record in the database, I just like the database gives me like an ID, and I put that ID connect blah blah blah, put together a URL plus that ID, and then send it out to the user. And they click on that URL, and that URL then clicks into a page, and that page just shows like the details, and just like asks them to use their Hero wallet to sign in, and then to click to confirm the transaction, and then there would be like a pop-up in the Hero wallet and just confirm transaction. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step thing. Hopefully 6 step if it gets complicated, Discord couldn't handle it.
So as
And
a user, I need to connect my wallet via a website.
Yes, you can't connect your wallet to Discord.
And that website, is that also on that server? It's like a hosted site. It's just like part of the code in that server, or
Yes.
Sounds very cool.
This is the current plan. It's gonna get choppy, of course, but that's like initial shit. So it's initial shit.
It's a little bit like what we're using, like in the NFT world, like the whitelist. Like currently, I get a link in my. Like I need, if I want a whitelist, I go /verify, gives me a link,
Yes.
and then takes me to a website. I have to link up my wallet, and then it says you've been whitelisted or something.
Yes. That's basically it. Harold, you wanted to say something?
No, this is huge. This is huge, man. I think that's what I was leaving off on. Because we said I think a million times now in these journey sessions, how this might and very well could be, the only point of contact for some folks, right? Especially newcomers into the advocates, and to have all of this accessible and familiar, as Hero was just mentioning. Yeah, I think there's a whole lot of potential in this. And thank you kindly, Mike, for bringing that conversation to life so quickly. Welcome to my world, Hero.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to know, like, there's somebody who can make this stuff very cleverly, and you can rely on her as
Right after the consensus flow, by the way, which was mind-boggling enough. But yeah, this gives us, it feels like a whole lot of options in the tool belt, right? And to do a lot of the more ambitious, things we've been talking about in these sessions. So yeah, this is surreal, man. Again, right after the last surreal thing you did.
By the way, Hero Gamer, have you checked the current active issue?
I don't know.
Have you seen it? Should give it a look.
What is it about?
Really,
Some
it's
STX
about
stuff.
yes. We've been having that issue for a while now, and me and Freaker were just like trying to figure it out. And this is the first issue that uses
Right.
the consensus flow.
Yeah.
Like, and we actually have like actual discussion
Okay.
over the issue. Yeah, and the current trend is going towards like just like distributing 42% of the last cycle rewards in the future. And for now, with the small amounts that we have of like 800 STX for the next cycle and the cycle after that, probably. Sorry, the next week and the week after that. This is just going to be half and half.
Yeah, I don't understand much about this issue, so I didn't really think of much, and I'm okay with it, or whatever. Really, I don't really have a much of an opinion. But
Yeah,
in terms of participation, yeah, I guess I can. I don't know, like I don't really have much opinion about money stuff. Like I'm
that's okay.
fine with whatever, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a problem if somebody votes no, right?
It wouldn't be a problem if that somebody did not participate in the discussion, or at least like just like react with like eyes.
Why so many people were removed, though?
I just removed them from the thread because they didn't voluntarily join the discussion.
Right.
And I think it was a bug in Discord. Really, I mentioned like the Advex Gov
Oh, okay,
role.
okay.
Yeah, that included everybody. The thread. I just like wanted to notify them, not include them. Should include themselves. Not like an asshole move though.
So did you mention it because you were just wondering what I have to say, or
I actually thought you didn't see it. That's why I was just like,
I
'cause
did see
you
it, but I
were
didn't understand it, so I just ignored it.
that's okay. That's okay. I actually just like mentioned that because you're just like one of the people who helped bring this to life. So
Yeah,
I
yeah. Let me
yeah.
test it out. I'm interested from a testing
No,
point of view.
don't test it out, please. Not here, please.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
No, but it is beautiful to see the first one up. Thank you kindly, Haas. And like you said, we've been, and we kind of been telling folks that this is what, one of the things that we'd be able to use the consensus flow for, the new one, right? And so thank you kindly for getting it out there so quickly. Might as well nip it in the bud, and it's good to see too the type of responses that we're getting from folks like Jake and whatnot. Hero, even your response and being so concerned about the money stuff is good too for anxieties about how choppy things could get, right, about money things. So no, thank you kindly, Haas. I know we wanted to get that up there as soon as possible, and thank you.
Yeah, I'll for the time being, I might finish up with the Discord bot with the Testacular, like, I guess, product or system. I don't know. Like by the end of this week, hopefully.
Beautiful.
Yeah. The contract has been completed in like, not sure exactly, but yeah, I think yeah, shit, I started last Friday and finished today. So hopefully, like, the back end for the Testacular bot is ready this week, and the front end is gonna. I think it's gonna be simple, but I don't know. It's a lot of tooling for the shit. Yeah.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
So go ahead.
Mhm.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you just like to give me your opinion on the contract because from your system design perspective, is there something missing there? This is like the basic shit that we have. I think starting from this small foundation is the thing.
No. Just like Hero said it, and I think some of the things that are starting to emerge just in in the conversation at the end of last week, um, uh, which was the beauty of the familiarity of it all. I don't want to lose that in terms of folks just being able to come in and feel like they can feel their way around. Um, uh, and I know that the contract, like you're saying, is a lot of that basic stuff, but we kind of discussed that in in the conversation, even right, how I kind of took note of that, and then as we were having a discussion, started realizing all of these different ways that we could wrap systems design around some of these more familiar flows, right? In terms of the journeys, you know, the intrinsic values, internet language that we've been using for the longest for journeys, that can be wrapped around journeys, tooling that you've been heads down on this last weeks, and so, and the way that can happen, right, is, you know, folks that are already in temporary clan structures, anybody participating in journeys, maybe as a first point of contact, it's also it aligns with protocol, right? That these are they can be bearers, right, at first, right, in terms of how they can plug into the more robust consensus flow and governance flows if need be, right? And then this is where you start to see the wrapping around, right, where it's okay if things stay basic, or I mean, even calling it micro DAO is hinting at, you know, more broader DAO functions, right, in relation to our horizontal system design, bottom system design, that is a little bit more, you know, robust in when you plug into governance, for example. But also, we can have the system design wrap around journeys in and of itself by having some of the conversations we had before. We were trying to bring visualizations into the fray of even journeys, and it doesn't have to be in every single post, as I think some of the very you know, kind of first draft conversations were maybe implying, or maybe I was just restricting myself to viewing it that way. But in your layouts of journeys in that spec in the Dropbox doc, you mentioned an ideation phase and a workspace phase, or lack of a better terminology, workspace phase. And I remember in the conversation we had that those particular parts of the components of journeys could lend themselves nicely to what could be broader journeys commons, right? And maybe this is enough to, along with hopefully some of the additions to the contract that you mentioned that could maybe can allow for the additions of people to things like the micro DAOs, right? I know that could be a whole other tangent and very technical that you held back. Alan, thank you kindly. But that's also very interesting, right? In the broader system design context, when it comes to folks seeing visualizations of the broader journeys, what's going on in journeys in a very broad way, but then being able to plug themselves into a particular, you know, journey if they'd like to, and, you know, also plug into you know, any of their micro DAO, you know, distributions as well, you know, hopefully. That's a big part of the accessibility that we wanted to ensure was a part of journeys. I was also going to ask you what modifications to the tooling in consensus flow would be needed, if any, in order to, you know, get this journeys task creation stuff up and going, right, with these windows of time and whatnot, because for the time being, with the immutability in the contracts, or the contracts being immutable, right, in terms of who's included, the membership of the DAO for the time being, the windows of time are all the more important to maybe bring attention to or to emphasize as you know, as we bring over the consensus flow tooling into the journeys. But this is how these are some of the I don't know if some of the wrapping around stuff made sense, but the visualizations obviously is still stuff that has to be figured out and designed in a more full-fledged way. But I hope that makes sense, right? In terms of why I'm okay with it. Like like we talked about before, even before you you made this a real thing already. In just conversation, I realized, okay, people can you can kind of see bases of traction towards just product design. Remember I said that during the conversation, like you can see folk, because it's so familiar as well, right? You can see folks just coming in and doing conventional task creation stuff, or falling into conventional task creation organization flows and whatnot. But if we do our due diligence in terms of how what wraps around this tooling, I think we can be okay. For we can still have this language of intrinsic value, internet, and um, you know, it can be just the entry point into it, right? That maybe hopefully hold its weight in terms of um, uh, you know transforming it away from scarcity and self-preservation competition towards more mutual aid and horizontal upskilling, and I think that's why the immutable part of the contract gets interesting, right? Going forward, or for the time being, we can focus on the bottom-up quorum aspects of the consensus flow tooling that already work, right? So, but yeah, I'll shut up. I'll probably just repeat myself now.
So no changes. Thank you. Now I would
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah. I was like I said during the conversation last week. I was recognizing that you'd, even if it was just the effort in that meeting, right? That this was already a lot of effort in this direction of getting it implemented. Not only that, but it's already it's familiar to folk. So to try to implement, so it kind of reminds me of the ambassador program and the connections, right? Like I don't want them to rearrange their dashboard to reflect systems design, right? Because that would that would not that's not necessarily accessibility even, right? And so I appreciate the accessibility and the bridge work to more conventional tooling and because I think it's a real thing. But it feels safe only because of all the other effort in robust consensus flow governance. Even getting a lot of the active advocates familiar with what we're thinking about system design wise and intrinsic value wise. Like if all that stuff hadn't been done, like all of this would feel that much more shaky, right? But it feels good knowing that all these things are, like always, just kind of running in parallel and simultaneous to each other. So yeah, no changes.
Maybe
Go
one
ahead.
little point to add to Harold's point. Like, I agree with the familiarity and stuff. Because definitely, I mean, I can say +1 to that. If the flow is like I verify that and it takes me to a website and I connect my wallet. So another thought on top of that is that's for people who already in Web3, like already have wallets. So where you take that website to connect the wallet, would it be possible if if say like somebody who doesn't have a wallet, and then you have a very simple link to say link to Hero's website. Essentially, just said if you don't have a wallet, here's a link to creating your new wallet. So you are increasing the accessibility of those
Yeah.
who are outside of Web3. I mean, it's quite a simple thing, I guess. Just add a link or something.
No, it's so I wouldn't support I would support the idea, but I wouldn't support the approach itself. So the the crypto literacy is in itself like a separate, and I think a more pressing issue. I'm not saying that we shouldn't help in that path, but I think there should be like a dedicated team for such a thing, or like a dedicated path. So I'm with you when it comes to crypto literacy, but when it comes to just like when we're talking about this implementation or this stacular, for example, um, I think people who are creating a DAO would help each other learn how to use a wallet, um, and it would be nice to have like resources in like a docs place or something in the Stacular, for example, or help. Um, I personally don't know what kind of resources that I can use within it, but if you provide me with like content, I could just like put it in like a help subcommand. Uh, that's
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah, it is definitely not like yeah, education is a huge part. It's not like there's no silver bullet.
mm. But of course, having multiple paths and for such a thing is great. And I think it will be part of this at some point, not initially.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, it's just like a whole other thing to think about, and I can't afford to think about that at the moment.
Yeah, I understand.
Thank you.
Are there any modifications any of you guys are seeing that would be useful in terms of the tooling that can come over from or will come over from Consensus Flow? Um, because along with the stuff that you said you somehow you'd be able to get done by the end of this week, which is way faster than
Hopefully,
we imagine. Yeah, you said hopefully. You said you were gonna, you're excited for this stuff, so it makes sense. Thank you kindly. We didn't. I guess we just didn't know how excited, but because this is fast. But yeah, if there's any modifications from the Consensus Flow tooling, that along with this contracts or micro DAO stuff that you've been working on, it pretty much brings all together the components we need to get a first journey up, huh?
yeah. Um, I think we could start planning a system for remember, make explicit the path for compensating GovLab outside labor. I think you guys, as in people other than me, should start drafting a proposal for making that journey. Um, um, I think we were on a journey right now as a GovLab with this is a journey in itself. I think we should just start drafting exactly what we want to do with compensating uh, people who are helping with our work, and make that explicit, at least between each other, so that we can actually do what we say we want to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think me and myself, Hero, and Aloe is, coming in and out at times in terms of, how valuable this exact tooling, right, and model now of journeys could be. And I think they both make for, and others obviously, right, that are also in these sessions with us, Merrick or other folks, right? Um, you know, uh, make for good seed shapes, right, of what journeys can be. And we've had some pretty explicit conversations already in the past, and you're making it really, really surreal in terms of how quickly it's possible. Hero, I know this has to be exciting for you because, man, just like this conversation about the micro DAOs seems just not just like the other day when myself and Hero were talking about how, you know, what our how his and our conversations can make for a good first journey, right? These long conversations about what might go into a grant, right? For example, or in updating me on how he's thinking about putting together a grant, right? And so, this is pretty much what Journeys is. So this is coming up a lot faster than we imagined it'd be possible. But we have a lot of beautiful people to lay a good foundation for Journeys because of it, because how fast this is coming. A lot of folks still in the midst of the ideation phase.
Hawes's frustrations are really neat to see encoded.
I just want us as the Gov Lab. I'm saying this explicitly to just like put our money where our shit is. Is what I'm saying. And it's I'm not saying that we don't have that intention or that we're being dishonest or anything, but I think we have like I think 5 months before the end of the residency. So this definitely would be a turning point from the salary thing to something more like a startup or not a startup. Shit, fuck that. Why am I thinking that way? To a collective kind of thing. Like, and all I'm saying is explicit because if there's like 1K or 2K taken out of each of our salaries, this could provide for a full salaried person. Like this is 8K a month. If 2K, for example, this also if we could provide for people whose needs, if we actually know each other's needs, and if we know the people who are working with us needs, I think this would provide for an even more easier path to sharing these resources with people who deserve it. I'm not saying we don't deserve it. I'm just saying that I think there's a better way than just like hoarding salaries. I think there's a lot of value being put into our work through people who are coming into our meetings and helping out with discussions on design. And I think they should be involved in this, or they should be compensated for their work, or at least included in this in our commons. I think right now it's not commons, private money in banks. I think having this microdAO structure would allow for actual creation of a common space for at least for this for these tokens, as there is this common space of ideas and these meetings. I'm voicing my opinions as explicitly as I can. And I think I've voiced them before and I'll keep voicing them. But don't you get the idea?
No, yeah. It's a beautiful opportunity to lay that precedence of what's possible, right, in terms of commons and commons distribution, and also alignment, right? How you can distribute with trustful alignment in terms of monetary parts of commons. Uh, uh, like you said, that we've had so many folks, whether it's Hero or Merrick or other folks, that have contributed to what has made up Advocates so far. That it's made for a really good precedence of what's possible with trustful alignment. Um, uh, and once we even start to, like I said, we have whole budgets attached to these residencies that we might be the only residency that hasn't engaged with it yet. And so this could be even, without even touching salaries, a means of leveraging alignment as opposed to hiring folks, right, who may not even have the time or interest or same passion that a lot of the other folks that we know um, align with a lot of the beautiful things that we're doing. Have already, started bridge work to other parts of the ecosystem or helped with design implementations and are consistent every week, right? And so uh, I think just the overall experience, and I don't know, I think it's just, I don't know why we haven't engaged in our budget yet as a GovLab, really, to be honest, in terms of some of the things that we could use help with. But I think some of it has just been happenstance, that we haven't engaged with it in terms of uh, whether it's the pace at certain times in the GovLab picking up or slowing down in certain areas or whatnot. But I think that I think this is a prime time uh, to start uh, leveraging all of this alignment, right? And not look at it as hiring, but as horizontal um, commons. And I don't know, there's something ripe about the time that we spent together too, in coming together in these meetings. Folks getting to be able to get familiar with different folks more consistently. One week less consistently another week. New people another week. Um, but even this patchwork of consistency makes up for some pretty good consistency of shared values and whatnot. And yeah, it seems like we have a whole lot of people and advocates that are extensions of the GovLab already, and so it makes all the sense in the world to start, you know, dogfooding the tooling, as Juliet said, to show this stuff. But there's something ripe about the time too. I don't know if 3 months in, you know, we had the capacities to do that, but yeah.
I was actually thinking like worst case scenario. I'm glad that we have like the budgets and all, but just like worst case scenario.
Mm.
And this frustration, Harold. I don't know. I have it because I've seen how sharing resources helps communities come together, and how being transparent also helps people come together. And that's why I've been a little bit disgusted with myself for having that kind of salary and other people's not having it. Especially like when I think about when you have money, you're basically taking it for someone who doesn't have it. Right? This is. I'm not saying that this is like um, that it's wrong to fill your needs or anything, and I'm actually forgiving myself, but I'm acknowledging the contradiction. I'm acknowledging the contradiction in capitalism where value is measured in weird shitty ways, right? I'm acknowledging that. I'm acknowledging that I don't have a home, and I don't have a car. I don't have um, I don't have any like actual shit. At the same time, I'm just like, well, nobody does, and it's it's uh it's weird, but I've seen how like I've seen how well coordinated shared resources, especially in SourceGrid, for example, when actual this is like one of the good things in the SourceGrid experience is when people when people's resources were everybody's, even in the shittiest kind of way, but having that actual step towards commons and away from private property capitalism kind of thing is good to actually give people hope that oh shit, I can be myself, right? Or I don't have to slave away for money. I could just like do what I like and get supported in whatever way, right? It's it feels good to share. That's one thing. And I don't know, dude. I think I don't know. One of the things that really excited me about this whole project is how easy it is for it to be brutally pushing us towards rethinking about money, right?
No,
And it's
yeah,
like,
that,
yeah,
no, yeah, the the selflessness that you mentioned, right, in terms of uh, catalyzing the collective as opposed to isolating and hyper individualist
it does
pride.
not feel natural. It does
No,
not feel natural at all.
yeah, but yeah, it completely makes sense. It's to have it transparent too is a key,
Mm.
right? Even if we're given, we're making sure to you know, even if that's how we operate anyway, right? Because that's just the mentality we're coming from. It's not necessarily broadcasting that mentality or making that mentality as predominant or as ubiquitous as other mentalities, where like you do have to have your multiple cars, a couple houses, right? And that's the predominant mentality that then kind of it's like a bribe that trickles down or doesn't
Mm.
trickle down, right? And the places that it doesn't trickle down is the places that don't the wealth doesn't trickle down to either. But as soon as the wealth trickles down, that bribe is available as well. You can operate like this, and it's all justified. It's all socially acceptable to isolate and hoard. But it's really not how things get done. To your point, right? If when we have bad analogies, um, uh, the best analogies is when there's not even any. There's very little money circulation. Um,
Yeah.
the way things get done is people, uh, you know, uh, the best examples are probably in the most robust support networks, because as soon as the support network isn't as robust, uh, the harder it is to be selfless, to feel like self-preservation isn't um, uh, as necessary, right? Because as soon as it's just one or two people able to kind of diffuse what might be perceived as burden or what very well may be burden, and it's not a robust network, the capacities for this mentality change, right? But you say a natural disaster hits somewhere, right? Or there's always just this lack of economy in certain places in the world. Um, folks even get uh, accustomed to the mentality that you're talking about, right? Like we're all gonna have less if it means we all have something, right? Because none of us are used to a lot anyway, right? And so this is a very uh, particular mentality that doesn't reach spaces that have money too often. So yeah, I 100% agree with you know having this as transparent as possible and leveraging these new tools to do it. But the transparency of it, or uh, it's not even necessarily transparency. It's more of the design of uh, the design of the transparency and the accessibility, the horizontality, how we design it in. For example, um, uh, what you described with these micro DAOs, right? Um, uh, it's a form of designing it in and building it in, but uh, what we just briefly described and still have to flesh out in terms of what wraps around, maybe even a more robust way of designing it and building it in, because uh, how do we communicate these? Like a lot of what you just said and what I tried to piggyback on, we're naming without naming a whole lot of invisible exchanges that get us by in spite of not having money usually. Um, and so that's I think where the wraparound of journeys is going to become important, so that what's actually happening in those micro DAOs is a little bit more to the background than what 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 uh, what we're describing, because although we're describing money flows and monetary flows, um, especially when you're speaking about alignment, right? When you're speaking about alignment with the advocates and the contributions in that alignment with folks and advocates and folks that are helping the GovLab along thus far, that's seems less about the monetary and more about this feeling that I'm trying to piggyback off that you're describing, or a mentality, that ickiness, right? That you can be bribed out of, right? Or I think most folks can be bribed out of, I should say, because it's socially accepted. And so yeah, I mean this is full circle in some of the other parts of the conversation, but it it just, I guess, reiterates for myself why just the tooling of the transparency isn't going to be enough in and of itself. Even though we're excited about this and it's a huge part of it, what we're describing feeling wise is something else, and that it's going to have to be designed in the same way that the transparency is. But there's something about the feeling we all get, I'm sure, when we heard you talk, right? The certainty, the comfort in knowing that we're associated with somebody with these type of acknowledgments, as you say, and so yeah, this is has to be communicated in what wraps around journeys for it hopefully to have influence on what's happening in those micro DAOs, so that, for example, there's alignment in those micro DAOs more so than hiring, right? Distribution of hiring folks without the alignment will likely you know it can, like, even if we try to do what we're describing now at the very beginning of folks getting familiar with advocates other than ourselves, and not necessarily having the alignment, maybe that even disturbs the alignment, or maybe it even, I don't know. But I don't know. I'm pretty appreciative of the time so far with everybody. But yeah, this is exciting to just say out loud, and I agree that even for myself, right, as you can see with some of the interaction with the Longhouse, the budget, and that's probably why we haven't engaged our budget, right? Like maybe we shouldn't be thinking of it as last resort, but I think there's been things going on, just with the residency coming together, or maybe just our disposition of not wanting to ask for money that makes us not engage that more. But yeah, for other folk, even for other folks, I've been much along the similar lines of we'll just take it out of our salary, but it's like maybe that but yeah.
Uh,
Oh,